Hello.
Yay.
Lovely stuff. So, we already had the You Are Live ping. Oh, it's going very quickly today. We're getting through a lot of topics. Before we get to this super juicy one, which I know a lot of people will be very interested to hear about, I'll do a little plug for another in person event. So, later on in June this year, 20th to the 21st, if you're in or around Barcelona or you fancy going to Barcelona, highly recommended, there will be an in person Hit Games conference there for you. So, without further ado, I think I've said that for every stream today. I'm going to have to pick a new intro to give you all the stage. But it is now time to hear from the lovely Tanja, who is going to talk about a very stressful topic. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Lauren, thank you, Hit Games Conference, and the audience for having me here today. My name is Tanja Loktionova. I am the founder of Values Value. It's a team of recruiters who have been headhunting game industry professionals and hiring entire teams for game industry companies since 2017. And I'm also a part of the in-game job team. It's a job portal which posts and aggregates thousands of job ads for game developers every month. And today I'm going to talk on the topic of a very big stress that the industry is in now, and how we can navigate the era of layoffs and what, except of the layoffs, is happening in the people operations world of the games industry. So we shall start with the global impact and what global trends and events influence the games industry. We shall dwell on a bit on games industry trends in the previous year. Then I will share the global people operations or HR trends that I have noticed. Then there will be a list of game dev HR trends that I could spot previous year, a bit of predictions which rarely come true, and some tips and to-dos both for managers and employees and candidates on what to do on this very stressful arena. So I've used so many sources, and this is just a part of them. Uh, One of them is the Big Games Industry Employment Survey, which I am the initiator and author of. So please take your time to learn very interesting data from there on salaries and employment trends. Um, and besides that, there will be a part of it in this stream, and we shall start with the global events. Of course, one of the words of the year last in 2023 was recession, and it influences the spend of the end users. It influences the prognosis that the big companies make. It influences the marketing spend, and it influences the investors, of course. Then it is not possible not to mention the war conflicts, which are not only in Ukraine, and I'm from Ukraine, and it has impacted, of course, a lot of my close friends and family and me myself. But unfortunately, we have faced the Israel-Palestine conflict that has impacted so many companies in Israel, because many of managers and top managers have become troopers, and there was some slowdown in processes in the companies. They had to rehire some people. But besides that, the whole MENA region has become not that attractive for candidates, and we have noticed that it in our attempts to relocate candidates from Europe to the companies, very fastly growing companies from the MENA region. Unfortunately, the crypto winter, which we have sadly got used to, was followed by multiverse devaluation, and we no longer see the announcements of millions and billions attracted by these or that multiverse developers. However, there was and there still is AI boom. and it has influenced the whole IT and not only IT world, and the games as well. And we shall talk on it a bit later. And of course, it's impossible not to notice the significant traditional investment slowdown, and the traditional games are a part of the investment world, investment scene, and that is why we have been impacted very much by this slowdown. As for the games industry investment scene, so there has been a big deal-making downturn. I'm relying here on investgame.net reports. They have updated their report yesterday, and they fortunately had no time to substitute the slide with the recent study of the whole 2023. Here I lay upon the first three quarters. However, they are very vivid, and we see that the average deal-making activity was 4 times lower than in 2021-22 average. The same mergers and acquisitions, 3.8 times below the previous 2 years average. IPO, they remain muted. Public offerings remain muted. We haven't seen any noticeable IPO story, new company on the IPO scene last year. And there was almost a 30% decline in the first 3 quarters of the previous year. As well, we can see that the early stage investment dynamics has slowed down. However, it has caught up with the pre-pandemic volumes. The late stage investment companies had to show, I don't know, some circus and drama and really big work and efforts in order to attract later rounds of investment. And AI was the only positive thing for the investment world in games previous year, and even in Q3 and especially in Q4, it has helped to demonstrate the VC scene more rigorous times and more activity. So, what else have we noticed, have I noticed, and experts that I was relying on? So, the decrease of revenue from mobile games, 2%, and it's quite enough for traditional investors to slow down their investment activities. China has shown a great global impact on mobile game revenue, and it not only goes with the expected restrictions and the end users' sales, but also there were affected companies that rely on Chinese overseas investment activities and mergers and acquisitions activities. However, Steam has hit a record year with a 9 billion worth copies sold. However, there is an expected slowdown after so many releases, and some experts say that the market is gonna hit back again to the level of 2023 only in 2026. Nevertheless, Take-Two, Electronic Arts, Nintendo, and Sony have ended the year with stock values higher than at the beginning of the year, and it's very promising. Besides that, the previous year showed impact of privacy policies on the games industry, even more significant than in 2022. and there is no expectation that it is going to be easier with IDFA. And not only Apple policies, but Google Privacy Sandbox is gonna bring us higher CPIs and further restrictions. So we see that there is a big extent of crypto and metaverse skepticism, and only big founders with with huge background raise. And the problem is that there is still no mega hit in the multiverse or in the crypto world. Maybe if this happens, hopefully, there will be more interest to crypto and metaverse again. AI is the new sexy everywhere in the games industry, except the artists. We see that hyper casual has almost completed its transformation to hybrid casual, and that the major developers have switched their development to more hardcore, or let's say hybrid hybrid casual, hybrid midcore genres. And we notice with the candidates that they no longer want to work for traditional hyper casual developers or publishers. So maybe some of them still show great results on the market, but the candidates market is very responsive, and it's a challenge to hire someone now into a crypto, metaverse, and a hyper casual project. Again, the registered falling advertisement revenues have influenced the mobile market world, having the developers switch to more in-app model of monetization and subscriptions. And of course, Unity's policy and its changes, and a great manifesto of more than 100 developers against the new policy with revenue share was a very bright finish of 2023. And though it seems like that the stress is already down, however, many companies are now looking for, or have already found, different ways to develop with other oh my god, I have forgotten it in English. Okay, you all know what Unity is. So what was happening in HR globally? As a part of an IT world, we have become a part of almost 250,000 IT layoffs. The overhiring and hiring just in case has stopped, and I think it has stopped for many years. And the companies tend to invest in the existing talent, whereas hiring as a top priority. And it is also proven by ongoing and sometimes even massive layoffs of recruitment teams and HR teams in companies. I've also noticed that there continues a further shift from the hybrid model, where you can stay at an office for some 2 days and then 3 days work from home, to firm office. But and there are companies who say, like, if you do not get back to office work within 2 months, you're gonna be fired. However, some companies try to make it softer, milder, with a hot desk policy, first come, first take, and trying to motivate people in a friendly and kind way to get back to offices. Another trend is AI for recruitment and candidates. And if in 2022 I was speaking about only AI for recruitment, now I have to speak about the candidates, which also work on automatization of their hiring process. And now there exists bots, and there will be more sophisticated in the way that you can apply on hundreds of job ads in one day. And imagine what recruitment spam is going to happen, and what challenge it's going to be to go through the applications. For example, for a 2D artist, it was usually hundreds of applications, and now it may be thousands of applications, which means that recruiters will have uh, to implement AI into their recruitment processes, and we will have maybe one or two uh, stages of recruitment of the hiring process when people alive are not involved at all, and it's only AI of the recruiter communicating to the AI of the candidate. One of the experts says that top skills for managers is no longer leadership, motivation, strategy, and so on. It's managing change, uncertainty, and risks, and it's understandable why. Again, we've noticed growing demand for pay transparency, and not only from the candidates who co-organize more and more and take part more actively in the researches like we run about the salaries, but it's the countries, the governments that motivate companies for more transparency in their pay. And we've heard so much fuss about Gen Z and how well they can like sell themselves and their experience, and how hard it is to motivate and manage them, how high their expectations and salary expectations are, even for the entry and trainee roles. And this is something that we need to think about when hiring and building teams, that Gen Z really differs from millennials. So now, one of the most important slides, the HR trends of the previous year that I have picked up and noticed and now present to you. Of course, the first and the main trend is layoffs. And I say layoffs, 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 because there have been so many of them. More than 10,000 people were laid off previous year. The next trend that I've noticed is the equi-hiring vs equi-firing. So if in the previous year there were so many holdings and companies acquiring, I don't know, outsourcing studios, co-production studios, publishers, self-publishers, development teams, and indies, now we see that they remove such, if we can call people who work in these companies and inherit assets. But that is true, especially the Embracer Group, who has been responsible for around 50% of layoffs in Europe previous year. There was a research saying that one third of developers have either switched or considered switching game engines in 2023. And this is not true as an alternative to Unity. It didn't sound like that. This is something that that came here accidentally, but we understand that maybe it is an alternative to Unity as well. The trend of focusing on hiring experts and senior plus specialists continues from the previous year. Almost no entry job ads, almost no opportunities for switchers from the neighboring or different industries. And employers have an opportunity to hire people almost 100% to the role profile that they have described, and are very, very inflexible in changing their requirements to candidates. Again, there was much fuss about AI in recruitment and very little implementation in one of the researches. I saw that only 7% of games industry professionals in HR have implemented AI in their work routine, and 93 have not. And this is something that will be a trend of this and next years. Definitely, overwork has been boosting and booming in the previous year. Now, 37% of respondents took on more responsibilities without an increase in salary in 2023. And this is gonna, I think this trend is gonna continue. Again, less experiments in hiring, in promotion, proven expertise in demand, and the companies want to hire people only with proven, not only expertise, but proven success. One more, but there is an interesting thing for marketers and business development managers is that in 2022 there was a very significant drop down of the amount of job opportunities for them, and 2023 has shown, with the continuation in 2024, a significant growth of such roles, but not only in performance marketing, and mainly not in performance marketing, not classical user acquisition, but traditional marketing specialists and untraditional, like more and more need of TikTok promotion, work with influencers, and untraditional for the mobile world channels. One more trend of the HR world was Army Satvats LinkedIn initiative and 70,000 people strong community who have organized a non-profit job board, like aggregator of thousands of jobs. One of the latest aggregations had 12,000 of job opportunities. They create lists of laid off people from different companies. They suggest mentorship, support, and so on and so forth. So our shout out to Amir. If to dwell on a bit more on layoffs, we can say that there have been more than 10,000 of them, with already more than 6,000 announced this year. 1/3 of people in games last year have already been influenced, or the people they know have been influenced by layoffs. Interesting fact is that the ByteDance CEO announced layoffs in the gaming division for 1,000 of people, just because he lost his interest in games and he does not longer want to work with them. Back in 2020, in a talk similar to this, where I analyzed the year in HR for the games industry and made my predictions, I was talking about 10,000 games-related open positions in ByteDance. And for the first time in our research since 2017, layoffs have become a top reason for job change, vs salary raise or management or more interesting project. Unfortunately, this is not a trend. This is something that, again, I hate. It's a pay gap, and it still remains. And the higher the level of seniority, the more the gap is. And you can see that the expert top specialists, female, earn so much less in general than the male. So we at In-Game Job have analyzed thousands of job ads, and we can see a significant drop down of the amount of job ads. So please place your open positions on our job portal. It's absolutely free for everyone. And you can change the trend in my next year's analysis. I have these are not these are not my personal predictions, I must say. I have gathered them from different sources, and as I have already told, there is expected a decline in Steam revenue. However, the big companies are gonna still need big teams in order to create big games after successful releases. We have also noticed that the companies try to mitigate risks and to publish franchise games based not only on the previous games titles, but also after the great success of Monopoly Go, we expect that there's going to be more and more games like that. Again, China is going to influence us much. The IDFA and introduction of Google's privacy sandbox. Marketing is, again, something that you can stand out with. And I believe that there will be more publishing stories again in the mobile world because most of the companies and most of the VC stories, they're based only on the self-publishing and self-marketing processes built in the studios. But the current situation will drive more and more publishing activities. Layoffs and cutting costs are gonna continue. Companies will invest, I hope, in the existing talents. We already see the rise of cross-platform specialists, UI, UX developers in development and hires, so that the companies could develop simultaneously on mobile and web, having different builds, but the same server. Some companies are focusing on processes, performance, and culture as a way of cutting costs and growing productivity vs laying off people. There's going to be further slowdown of salaries rise, and a very big challenge for HR and PR teams of building or rebuilding trust to games companies by the employees and candidates of whether they're gonna be or gonna be not laid off. There was some good news, yeah, that this year is expected to have 4% raise. That AI is gonna be not that banned on Steam, and the Steam policy has already been milder to developers using AI. And for the first time since the rise of hyper casual, we see an opportunity for small teams who will use AI for localization, game design, narration, art, and development needs. We see that almost every candidate of ours who is of a senior plus level has a pet project at the moment, and indies indies being in the shadow of big titles and big franchises anyway will have to develop their creativity and develop creative games, and that is why we expect that there will be something original and innovative. And I'm rounding up with tips for managers. Invest in your teams and yourselves. Develop personal improvement plans for your teammates. Give them feedback. Be ready to have extra tasks and responsibilities, and optimize your costs with outsourcing consulting service providers where you are not sure that hire is a good idea. And in order not to let people off, maybe it's reasonable to outsource this or that expertise. Here is a list of skills to develop. These are based on research on the most wanted skills, hard and soft skills on in-game job, based on hundreds of job ads. And tips for employees and candidates and for all of us is to stay positive. If we are stressed because of layoffs, it makes them come closer to us. And I believe in this. So we need to stay positive and think about what we can influence on vs what we cannot. That is why what we can grow our network, be visible to recruiters and hiring managers, add them in your LinkedIn, and be nice and positive. You can prove your expertise on your current job or your pet project and describe this expertise for your current employer or in your CV or LinkedIn profile. We can try to save a 3 to 6 months backup in order not to choose our first opportunity, first possible opportunity, but choose the best opportunity, and it may take time. It is important to develop the hard and soft skills, know the market and your market value. If you are going to have only one takeaway from this talk, take a look at your agreement, at your current employment agreement, and know how and in which way you can protect yourselves or get ready to being laid off. Keep your LinkedIn and CV updated. Mind your portfolio and cases. Be ready to talk about your work in results and in data and numbers. Try to log your accomplishments again in numbers, and mind matching roles and industries. Maybe it is quite an option to surpass the hard times in the games industry. However, I hope that all of us stay here and prosper. So thank you very much for your attention. I was trying to do my best in order not to take too much of your time and agenda. If you're looking for specialists, please address us at Values Value or visit our job portal in Job. If you're looking for a job, please send me a line, and I will try, me and my team will try to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tanja. It's such a big topic, so thank you for squeezing it in to the short amount of time. That was a lot of info to digest, but I hope that people will indeed reach out if they want to know more. Thank you for sharing the contact details here. And yeah, in that case, I'm afraid I have to keep things rolling, so I'm going to direct us towards the next stream, but definitely look forward to touching on these